3 of their Facebook's fact checkers. And that's when Facebook told me that actually even that, there is an exemption for political candidates. So what Facebook is saying is, well, we never enforced their old policy, which I can't really say if that's true or not because I'm not in the room with them as they enforce it, but there was a change. And I think that's why people have kind of gotten pretty upset about this and are raising a stink because people didn't know this before.
Well, part of the context here, too, is what the Trump campaign has been doing on the platform. How invested have they been in Facebook and Facebook ads?
Hugely invested. In fact, they've ratcheted it down a little bit, but as of last week, they were spending upwards of $1.6 million per week on the platform. And many of these ads are false and misleading. Even in your first segment, you were talking about how the Trump campaign has not released a transcript. There's an ad that was released today by the Trump campaign. There's dozens and dozens of variations targeting voters all around the country. And the very first line in the ad is, we've released a transcript. So the context is they've got a candidate who's spending millions of dollars to Facebook to spread this kind of misinformation. And we're more than a year out. So I think you can expect that the intensity of the spending and the intensity of the message is only going to increase as we get closer to Election Day.
Part of the context here is there's been a real right-wing push against Facebook. Earlier claims in 2016 that they were rigging things, that they were biased against conservative publishers. There was a big meeting that Glenn Beck went to, among others. There's now Republican senators from Josh Hawley to Ted Cruz saying they're biased and they should have legal and political protections taken away for that reason. Do you see a kind of concerted effort here to kind of work the refs to make Facebook more amenable to the kinds of things that the Trump campaign is running?
Absolutely. And I think that's the important context for this policy, is that it wouldn't really be a big deal except you have a campaign that is pushing all of these false ads. And I think they've really been successful in building into the consciousness the idea that Facebook has a liberal bias. But really, if you look at the people in charge, the person in charge of the D.C. office is a Republican operative, Joel Kaplan. You may have recognized him. He was sitting behind Brett Kavanaugh during his confirmation hearing. So this isn't a company that's really run by liberals for liberals. In fact, it's setting some rules that are providing some fairly significant advantages to Trump in advance of 2020.
All right, Judd Legum, great reporting. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Ahead, what's the play for Democrats leading impeachment? The White House says they have no plans to cooperate. The strategy coming up. Plus, tonight's Thing 1, Thing 2 starts next.
Have you ever seen the emerald waters of Barbados? Or seen a butler walk on water?